Alrighty, everybody. Now we are back for a third freaking time on this cozy question. My bad for having my OBS crash like two different times. So we're just gonna do a pre-recorded video this time. Apparently, I need more production quality because clearly my internet is not working, or maybe there's gay ops. I don't know. Point being is that we're gonna be talking about the Kiwi farms. I think you've seen my live stream at this point, and I'm going to be basically wrapping that up. Now we're up to like recent information about this. So, without a further ado, or whatever people say, regardless of whether or not Simon's evidence is compelling, everybody knows the view counts are bullshit. Even Kai and Paul Town have said the other day that Nick's view counts seem sussy baka. Now, again, true. Paul Town is a little bit more like he's more freely anti-Nick because Nick respects him, because Nick idolized him as a teenager in high school. So I think that's why Paul Town is a little more honest. And then Kai is a smart guy, so he can piece together the truth a little bit. But again, the confirmation bias and him being naive and apparently, now I don't know if he's lying about this, but still supporting Nick makes him kind of like close off whether or not it's true that Nick is botting and all that. But it is evident enough to say that Kai is sort of implicitly agreeing with the Kino Casino and that the Nick live streams are botted. And I kind of was talking about Kai in the last stream, so I'll talk about it a little bit here. I think that Kai is really smart, and I hope he leaves AF for his own sake, but definitely he is naive as fuck, and it has to do with the Mormon thing. But yeah, so, jump ship while you can. And I like Kai. He was nice to me for the most part. So, again, and with this, like, sussy baka thing, I hate that people say that. Madison Cawthorn face fucking his male cousin. Yeah, that's sussy baka. Nigga, no, that's gay. That's sodomy, bro. Stop it. Stop it. It's sodomy. Madison Cawthorn is probably going to burn in hell for all eternity. And does he deserve it? Frankly, look at it. Look at the situation here. It's disgusting. And for Nick to be contrarian about it, and for people in Cozy to be tiptoeing around the fact that him defending Madison Cawthorn is a bad look and immoral, and for Kai and Paul Town to be like, well, all these immoral lies about Nick that are probably true are sussy. They're not sussy, they're bad. And you're too much of a pussy to say it. And again, I commend Kai with counter signaling Nick a little bit more than the other people, but again, you could be doing a lot more. And again, I feel like Kai being on Cozy is sort of like prolonging the collapse of AF. Like, I feel like if everybody who hated Nick were honest about it, I feel like Nick would be done for politically in like less than 2 weeks. But because of people like Kai and other people that have been holding their tongue, I feel like those people are keeping Nick alive politically for months instead of weeks. So again, I implore you to actually get out of AF Kai for watching this, because I feel like you are wasting your potential here and you're going to ruin your life if you stay all the way to the end. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, but no, generally, definitely, this is so true. Cozy will have 30 or so viewers on Alex Jones' channel, maybe a couple of hundo on Dalton's, but literally the second Nick's lobby goes live, it has 6,000 with a dead chat, unless knife bots are enabled, of course. And that's kind of true. People just keep spamming knife emojis in chat, and it's really annoying. Yeah, so Alex Jones constantly has 30 people watching. That's kind of sussy. I don't know. Okay, I'm acting like the Cozy people now. Yeah, it is definitely suspect. I just don't see why that is the case. I don't honestly see why.
Down
And
to
I like how
1%, but
Nick
didn't even
Fuentes
matter
was
if it was
promoting. Nick Fuentes was like, oh, Alex Jones is on Cozy. And it's like, dude, he's just restreaming and stuff. And then he was making a big deal out of, like, Kai being on Cozy as well. And to that I say, like, dude, honestly, at this point, sorry, not Kai, fuck, brain fart. Destiny. He had Destiny come to his platform, and it was a big deal. But Destiny has never streamed on his thing. So then what's the big deal either way, is my point, right? So, completely vindicated on the whole AF is dying arc, okay? That's 100% true. And Nick is nowhere near his popularity at the Groiper War, and that's kind of true in many respects. And then, the one thing he has going on is like, well, AFPAC 3 was bigger than ever. And it's like, well, yeah, that's sort of true. But at the same time, you have to realize that with AF, most of the people that were there denounced it, right? For example, and I'm not going to bring Doyle into this too much. I don't want to talk shit. Like, I don't want to, like, I know his opinion. I know his actual opinion. So I do not want to light up his position. But in general, people that you did have at that conference have since then talked shit about you, Nick. So I don't know how incredible of an example that is. Like, oh, I had this lieutenant governor from Idaho make a 5-minute speech that was pretty generic for my conference, and then she pretty much denounced you afterwards. Or I had Marjorie Taylor Greene, where we basically took her someplace and misled her about the event. She gave a speech for 15 minutes praising Martin Luther King, who you talk shit about as a rapist and a communist. And then you had Stu Peters, and you basically just pretend like it never happened. And you had that guy blatantly disrespect you in front of everybody there, because that's how little respect you have from these people that are actually rich, people that are actually over the age of 25. So few of them actually respect you, Nick, because it's really a cult of 15-year-olds, and it's sad. Okay, the median year of birth for AF is probably 2005. Really, it's sad. It's hard to even conceptualize people from 2005 as sentient human beings for me, and that's coming from a guy from 2003. Okay, so again, people praising Nick are stupid as fuck, and I've stopped thinking of Nick as like this end-all be-all genius from like the age of 16 or 17. So a lot of these people that think Nick is some savant are really not even adults, or, and by adult I mean like people over 25. But even the people that are like 19 are starting to see the plot, really. So truthfully, if you look at Nick's appeal among age, it just drops off a fucking cliff after 21, and it's really sad to see. And again, you can call it a youth movement all you want, but you should still be able to attract people in their late 20s, mid 20s, and it's just not the case. And the people that you do have on the show that are, in Cozy, that are over 30, you're talking about Beardson, a complete loser. Baked is a complete enigma in and of himself. And, Baked deserves a stream on his own. The content is immense with Baked. And, and I will say this about Baked. Baked has had good content in the past. The Sammy Saga, that was phenomenal. Live streaming IRL stuff. It was so fucking Kino, and I will respect Baked for doing that. It was awesome. But Beardson, on the other hand, has done nothing of worth in his life. And all you have is like, oh, I exposed Richard Spencer on an obscure podcast 5 years ago. Good for you, you fucking loser. Oh, nigga, I'm gonna play video games and complain about my fat bitch wife that left me. That's all you got, Beardson. You ain't got shit. And then this nigga's over here rating high school girls that are underage their fucking feet pics. You're a fucking weirdo, Beardson. And I know that you follow a ton of e-girls on the internet. And what, do you do it ironically, nigga? Doubt it. Big doubt. And all these people give Kai Clips shit for following e-girls on his show, okay? Or on his platform. They talk shit because, oh, Kai, you're following a 19-year-old girl as a 19-year-old guy. But Beardson, who's 35, can follow an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and that's fine. Why? What is this hypocrisy? The pecking order is complete dog shit. If anything, Kai should be the second in command in America first, and not fucking Beardson, not Baked Alaska, and not UX. Okay? I don't even know about UX. All this nigga does, he's a man-child who talks completely soft, and he plays Minecraft, and he kind of sounds autistic. That's literally UX, bro. Fucking gay. Nigga, Sussy Squad. Don't get me started on Sussy Squad, bros. Okay, I'm yelling because I get to yell. I'm being energetic. We're off the Diet Coke right now and home alone, so I'm going to be ranting. Okay, it's total Groiper death. Okay, that's a little spurgy. We'll see what Julius Branson said. These last two streams were total cringe. Just lost a ton of respect for the guy. I was expecting for him to at least address the most powerful claims, i.e. the ones about the $70,000 car, I think it's a Mustang, I don't know, and lying about the $500,000, and the one about him shutting down funding for the AF congressional campaigns. If these claims were actually true, he's a grifter and he's a thief, and he's a gay-ass nigga rap stream where he cries about his dog dying with sunglasses, crying like his dog died with sunglasses on, and he doesn't say anything weak as fuck. Very sad, and I actually agree with most of you now that this shit is over. He surely lost any high-quality fans he had, and now he might actually be slowly rotting. Yeah, he might have a slowly rotting corpse of a 14-year-old incel, but AF is probably done for, and I trusted this guy. True, and I trusted in Nick a long time ago. I unironically supported Nick and thought he was the hot shit for like a year. I was a fan of Nick, like during the Yang Gang thing. I was a fan of Nick during like the Christchurch thing, and it didn't correlate. I just remember that like March 2019 thing, maybe like late 2018 even. So I've known of Nick for over 3 years at this point, and I was following him in the 10th grade. So again, I've known him for a long time, known about him, sorry, and I thought he was really smart. Now, to be fair, I was 15, 16 at the time, and Nick was 20, and Nick had a show, and he was not as bad as now. He wasn't as openly fruity and gay with all the sus stuff, and he wasn't defending gay incest, ironically, because to own the elites. And generally speaking, I just see Nick as a fucking weirdo now, and I've lost respect for him ever since the Catboy thing in December of 2019 and January of 2020. And it makes me a little upset because I actually believe the gaslighting from Nick after I made anti-Nick videos about the Catboy thing. He basically gaslit his fans into thinking that it was made up by Vaush. And I sort of believe that, and it's sad because I still like I sort of on and off supported him up until like a couple months ago. And again, I gave him the benefit of the doubt so much that I don't even feel bad about being against Nick now. And again, I feel empathy for those of whom are younger than me, but if you're older than 18, if you are older than me and you support America first, you're a bone cold fucking retard, okay? Get out of there while you still can. Don't get doxxed. Seriously. I don't trust these people. I don't trust Big Tech, that fucking weirdo. Beardson, that creepy little fucking hobgoblin, okay? And, all these people are unsavory, and we don't like these people. And again, I only really respect Vincent James, who's normal. And, if Vince James wants to make videos about the crime rates and race realism, and if he wants to make money for his family and his dollar store Giselle Bunchkin, then he can go ahead and do that. I'm fine with Vince. I am fine with Kai Clips. But these other people, for the most part, are fucking retards. And you see some boys escaping, like that Drake song from like 4 years ago, The scene is dirty, gotta yellow tape it. And I see some boys escaping. And the rest of them are guilty by association. And it's true. If you're still with Nick, after this, you're pretty stupid, honestly. And you're kind of guilty of this, okay? Anybody that's in the inner circle that is not jump ship now has to by next month, or else you guys are boned as fuck, okay? We're at that point where the Titanic is sinking, and like where the poor people live, like in the third class, you're looking at the interior of those rooms like being flooded, and you're like trying to hang on to the pipes, and you're trying to get out. Like, you're in that stage right now. Just get out now. You cannot wait. You cannot go look for somebody's amulet, okay? You gotta get the fuck off of the Titanic right now, or you're gonna die, okay? Be honest, politically speaking, of course. Legally. I'm glad that I didn't become an intern. I was thinking about becoming an AF intern in high school. I didn't want to do it after I saw what happened with Patrick Casey's Patriot Front, or whatever it was called back then. An Identity Evropa is what Charlie Kirk called it. I just personally thought that was a bad idea, so I just didn't join, and I'm glad that I didn't, because I would have seen a lot of bad things, okay? So that's that, and I really do appreciate you guys keeping up so far. Okay, let me take a sip of my Diet Coke. Coke Zero, actually, my bad. Okay, I've been a lurker on Kiwi Farms for a couple years, but I registered to quote the above for analysis and to weigh in with my 2 cents. I'm going to try and stay objective as I can with the whirlwind of claims and topics, but there's too much hearsay to say so much, and to be anything is definitive at this point. I'm going to address some things from a general perspective. I'll be referencing the Kino Casino and Nick streams and Telegram. Number 1, someone here is clearly lying. Nick, Jaden, Simon, or a combination of all three. This begs the question of motivation and what each party stands to gain from lying. 2, Simon's motivation. Again, if you guys don't know, Simon was a prolific intern for Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes was the best man at his wedding a couple of years ago, and he's been with AF since like 2017 or 18. And again, Simon isn't a great guy insofar as I was looking into Simon, and he has some weird stuff. Apparently, he dressed up his wife as like a trap, like one of those like anime trap things, and that's really weird. And that questions like his wife, like why would she let her husband tell her to do that? And his wife isn't even unattractive, like, for his standards, so I don't know. So he said some sussy things about anime. I don't really respect Simon in that respect, but, again, is he being honest? I think he is, like, being over 80% honest. Okay? Anyway, let's look. Simon's motivation. This guy doesn't strike me as particularly bright. True. I don't care how virtuous your pursuit of AF goals are, but getting paid minimum wage with a wife and 2 children is insanity. However, he does strike me as humble, noble, and in a state of good spirituality. Unlike Nick, I don't know much about Simon, but I think his affect suggests that he's actually truthful, and I think that's true. So again, I'm on Simon's side here, but yeah, no, I don't see him as very smart, and you can tell because I think he was following Spencer, pre 2017, and I feel like he was following Nick, and Nick is younger than him by a little bit. So again, to be following somebody that is younger than you, that's pretty, pathetic in most instances. So yeah, Simon is not very bright. Again, that's, not everybody has to be smart. We have to have our Jannies and our workers and all that. So that's okay. But again, noble guy, I think he's being honest. Now, working minimum wage and putting in hours to America first while having a wife and 2 children is retarded. And, that total grape or death, he's right about this. I would not work for Nick. If I had a wife and 2 children, I'd be way too busy trying to provide for them through normal means than to contribute to America first in any meaningful way. That is like taking more than like a couple hours a week for me, okay? I'll be honest about that. And if Nick wanted to use this guy's time, I think that's selfish of Nick. I would have been like, you know what, dude, I'm appreciative of you trying to help me, but honestly, I don't see how the time management works out with between you and your family if you're going to be giving me 20 hours of work or more. And again, to pay him minimum wage is also a dick move. Nick, like you should have paid him triple. Again, I don't know how rich Nick is. So either he's not as rich and he couldn't afford to pay Simon more, or he's hoarding the money in a way that is unproductive. Because if he were really hoarding the money for something political, then he probably wouldn't have bought a $70,000 sports car. And I'm not, and again, I'm not saying that he cannot buy fancy things for himself, but I would probably want to take care of my own people before I buy my own luxury items. And what I think is happening is that he probably was rich enough to pay everybody and buy himself a sports car, but I also think that he was being a pedantic asshole by not paying them, and it was a power move. And I just really think that you need to stop being such a bitch about that. Anyways, Nick's motivation. Nick freely admits that he's an egomaniac and a narcissist. It seems to me he's the only one that is given much to gain from airing out dirty laundry. View count, people talking about him, attention, traffic to cozy. As an avid listener of Nick since the Groiper Wars, I am led to believe that Nick sees this as a competition and an opportunity to crush an enemy with a scorched earth Machiavellian approach, aka destroy, do not wound. In his eyes, the end justified the means and will be willing to do anything to hurt these people who he no longer sees as allies. Okay, that is pretty much spot on. Nick obviously says he's an egomaniac and a narcissist. I think he says this because obviously he knows this, but he also because he can't really lie about it anymore. Like, it's too obvious. So he might as well just own it. And again, Nick uses a lot of pretenses and irony to kind of layer in the truth. And a lot of young people do this. It's not just him, but he does it to such an extent that is like not ecumenical to appealing to a larger audience, So basically, to understand Nick's true opinions, you would have to watch him for years, be in the same age bracket, know all the inside jokes and all the lore, and be able to tell when he's lying and when he's being ironic and when he's giving you half truths. So I understand all of that because I do fit in all those categories of watching him for years, being in the same age bracket, and all that. But again, how are you supposed to be somebody that's not a fan of Nick, say I'm an egomaniac and a narcissist, while he's kind of laughing at it, and then take him seriously as a political figure is my question. Obviously, I don't think that he has this like cognitive dissonance that makes him think that he's like completely in the right. I feel like he is a little bit subconsciously tanking himself, but I think that he's okay with that. I feel like he's sort of resigned the fact that he's not going to make it, and so he's kind of couching himself and doubling down with his own audience to appeal to the same 15-year-olds. And it's a very convoluted way of saying, basically in summation, that I think that he definitely does believe that he's an egomaniac and a narcissist. And I do think that he does benefit from a Machiavellian approach. And I mean, if I were Nick, I'm not him, but if I were him, I would not attack Jaden. Jaden was perfectly fine with not going on Kino Casino until Nick kept on attacking him and threatening him with lawsuits and all that. So if Nick weren't such a vindictive little bitch and Machiavellian, well, then he probably would have not have gotten the Kino Casino on his ass as much, and he'd be fine right now. And if you were a Machiavellian, like Frank Underwood would not do what Nick's doing because Frank Underwood was more intelligent than Nick. Okay, a true Machiavellian and sociopath would have said, you know what, my friend betrayed me. Fuck it, whatever. As long as I don't attack him, he won't attack me. So there's no point in destroying Jaden, and I'll just shut up and I'll go ahead and go forward with my movement. Instead, he has the egomaniac stuff and he's got the narcissism. So then he says, you know what, screw the Machiavellian thing, I'm gonna fuck over Jaden because he scorched me, and I cannot take it. Jaden tried to fuck me, well, it's over for him. That's the sort of logic. Okay, so I would respect Nick more if he were a complete sociopath, because at least then he'd be more effective as a political leader. And again, even if he were a sociopath, that would show that he's no better than Madison Cawthorn. He's no better than Ted Cruz. People that are perennial liars to advance the greater good in their own opinions and for their own self-aggrandizement. How could they be seen as any morally worse than Nick when Nick's doing the same thing? Now, you might be saying, well, Nick's doing it for a greater cause. But it's like, well, what's the big difference here? Nick is doing stuff that is immoral for smaller stakes, and smaller ballparks. When in reality, if Donald Trump lies or if Obama lied, it was like when there was billions of dollars at stake, when there was millions of lives at stake. It wasn't Nick who, just because he hates his own friend or because he got embarrassed by his friend on a show with like 10,000 people on it, he's going to go on this full rampage and ruin his reputation in the process. So Nick clearly has these mental issues where it's pretty much shooting himself in the foot. He's doing a political cheddar bob where he's spiting himself right now, and it's really cringe. And if he were smart and a sociopath like a Patrick Bateman, he would not sabotage himself in this way. So honestly, he's less competent than Patrick Bateman, and maybe that will convince Kai to jump ship because he's a big fan of American Psycho, as am I. And I've been talking really fast, and I'm a little self-conscious about that, but I really just want to get through this quickly. I don't want to take forever here. And I feel like I would get insulted because I watch people in 2x speed all the time, and I listen to them talking my cadence like naturally because I talk fast, and they just seem to not keep track. Most people do not keep track with what I'm saying. Um, Anyways, okay, reading this paragraph right here, boys. Am I underestimating the motivation of Jaden and Simon? Question mark. The pattern that I believe to be reoccurring is people around Nick ending up having a fallout with him. What am I to believe? Nick's words saying that all these other people are the problem. He's the victim every time because of disloyal friends. Who's the common denominator among all these friendship fallouts? I was literally defending Nick on the boards 2 days ago because, like the above quoted poster, I believe the dude. I trusted him. Politically speaking, Nick has top tier opinions, and I would not take that away from him. But as of February and March, he's really cracking down on the woman problem and has gotten a little more careless with the rhetoric. I found myself often disagreeing with some of the things he said on the show quite frequently, which is not the case since the Groiper Wars. I gleaned Nick wasn't going to go to church every Sunday because he made a big deal out of going to Easter in his late night Saturday streams general schedule. But the hearsay from Jaden and Simon about blowing off mealtime prayers and scoffing at Catholic prayer circles was the salt in the wound. In defense of Nick, being a young millionaire with a huge fan base that rely on you can really fuck with your head from a psychological standpoint. And I think that's one ingredient for many that into the recipe of his erratic behavior, which is from my last point. Ooh, that was long-winded. Yeah, I completely agree with this. I think this is pretty much spot on. As of the last couple of months, he's been doubling down on the girl question. He's really been hazing Kai in particular. He's been trying to tamp down on anybody that has been defending getting with women. And he wraps it in a layer of irony of like, dating women is gay and sex is gay. And then at the same time defending Madison Cawthorn. And then he goes on Kai's stream and he's like, Kai, nobody's saying not to marry women. Everybody should get married eventually. And you know what? I'll reluctantly have a male heir, so I have to get married and reluctantly have sex with my wife. Nigga, you're gay as fuck. What straight guy talks about women that way? Honestly, what straight guy says, I'm gonna get married so I can reproduce somebody that looks like me in the future to be my prince? And that's it. That's what he says. Like, not to be a simp or anything, but, to say, I want a wife because I want to cherish her, I want to love her, I want to fuck her, and I want to have kids. That's way more normal than to say, I want to have a wife just so I can reproduce. That's cringe. What a fucking narcissist. I want a woman so that she can reproduce my heir. That's it? Really? Like, do you not want other children too? Like, if I wanted to get married with a woman, it's not just because I want a son. I want a son and then another son and then maybe a daughter and then a son. Like, I wouldn't want just, to talk about that one kid, right? Seriously, what a dumbass. Fucking retard. And then yes, being a young millionaire with a huge fan base is fucking up with your head, and I agree. Like, obviously he's gonna have a big ego, but to the extent that his ego is big is also naturally without, like, it has nothing to do with the millionaire stuff because he had a big ego before that even. But before Groiper War, he was at a disadvantage, so he used to kiss up to people, including Mr. Medicare, by saying that he was a legend, internet legend. And then now that he feels like he's more relevant than Medicare, as of a couple weeks ago, he's like, oh, Medicare is irrelevant, he's washed. I didn't even know who he was. Meanwhile, he had him on his show kissing his ass like 5 years ago because that's basically Nick's character, a complete fucking snake. And Nick thinks that as soon as he's bigger than somebody, he can talk shit about them. Absolutely no decorum with the guy, and very untrustworthy in that respect. And then with the religion stuff, I already understood that he didn't go to church every Sunday or Saturday as a Catholic because I just put two and two together. It's kind of like with the bot thing. I had no real proof to show that he was actually doing these things. But what I did know was that he was blowing off responsibilities and that he wasn't real big. He wasn't a huge. Sorry, I was looking at something. I don't think he's a big supporter of the Catholic Church. He'll go on and praise God and all that, and that's cool. And he says, like, America's a Christian country and all this, but he doesn't go to church. And I think he blew it off. I don't think he cares. And to be completely honest, I'm not that religious either. I am a Protestant Baptist and all that, but I don't go to church every Sunday either. Now, I did go to church more often, but ever since the the virus, I just stopped going. And that's, in part because my parents stopped going. But, the point is that I'd say I'm more religious than Nick. And, Nick has the ability to go in a sports car and go to any Catholic church in Chicago, which there ought to be many of, hundreds of churches. And he just doesn't want to go to. He doesn't want to go to these things. And again, if you're going to be a pious Catholic, you ought to be going to church. And again, he made a big deal out of going to church for Easter. And then what's ironic is that in interviews, he'll be like, oh, my parents were religious. We would go to church for Christmas and Easter. Nigga, you do the exact same shit now. How are you any better than your parents other than, like, you moral fag about, abortion and all that more than your parents probably did. Probably because the culture didn't necessitate that from your dad back then. But now Nick is over here overcompensating with like, oh, I hate the gays and all that. Meanwhile, defending them. So it's like ironic. And then he's over here, what was I going to say? Not attending church and again, blowing off, praying for his food, and then laughing at people for praying for the food. And it's a very Catholic and religious thing to pray for your food, being thankful to God. My grandma does it all the time. I don't do that personally. I don't think it does anything important. Not to be blasphemous or anything. I just don't believe in praying more than once a day. I pray every day, but not more than once. So that's that. But Nick seems to not care. Again, because he's up his own ass. He thinks he's smarter than everybody, and it's really tragic to see. So yeah, no, he's a bad Catholic, and that's ironic because he was raised a bad Catholic, and now he's a bad Catholic again. And yeah, it's not traditional at all. And even Baked Alaska does the rosary stream, and he does pray for his food on stream. So at least he pretends to be more Catholic. And so it's kind of pathetic that you're getting religion mocked by him, honestly. It's really bad. Anyways, let's read this. Am I underestimating the motivation of Jaden and Simon? The pattern that I believe to be reoccurring is people around Nick ending up having a fallout with him. What am I to believe? Nick's words saying that all these other people are the problem. He's the victim time and time again because of disloyal friends. Okay, I reread that. My bad. But no, it's true. It's true. Oh, I'm getting betrayed every time. I'm getting betrayed every time. Well, maybe you have some character flaws. And, I'll even say this with Trump. I love Donald Trump. I think he should run for president again, and I think he'll win again. But, like I said, Trump has these ego problems. And, I say that Donald Trump has a bigger, claim to being an egomaniac and a narcissist than Nick has. Nick is a fringe niche right-wing extremist. I don't say that like as a pejorative with, thousands of followers, but that's about it. He's a millionaire maybe, and that's it. Whereas Donald Trump is a 6 foot tall billionaire with a supermodel wife with, mostly good kids, optical, good family, Mar-a-Lago, billions of dollars, was the president at the time that Nick was talking shit about him with his personal faults. So what is that about? For the people saying like, oh, you can't counter-signal Nick, he's the leader of America first. It's like, well, then why were you counter-signaling Trump for 3 years straight, Nick? This nigga literally started the Yang Gang meme on his channel on YouTube back then before he was banned. So again, counter-signaling Trump, who literally is a billionaire and literally has the supermodel wife and has several kids and has reproduced a kid that's over 6'6" tall. Nick would be lucky if his kid is over 5'8", frankly. So again, Nick up his own ass. If people are supposed to be deferential to Nick, then they ought to be filleting Donald Trump. They ought to have a fucking shrine of Donald Trump because Donald Trump is 1,000 times the man that Nick is. And Donald Trump got betrayed several times by way more important people than Jaden McNeil, no offense. And Donald Trump took it way more on the chin than Nick could ever do. Because Donald Trump, despite having a big ego and maybe being a narcissist, is much less of one than Nick. Okay, so I'll pause here. All right, we are so back. My bad. I had to pause. Okay, so other random thoughts. Let's go ahead and just read this part too. Okay, so Nick getting his $500,000 back a year ago is big if true. I think it's 100% true, and you can tell because the Groyper generals aren't even denying it. And it's really telling when somebody doesn't even deny something because it kind of shows that it is true. And I don't want to presume that the presumably innocent thing is like fallacy, but it is sort of connoting of guiltiness when you're talking about this $500,000 deal. And to say that Nick used those $500,000 and had them already, and maybe he used that to buy his house, or maybe he used that to buy his $70,000 sports car, it's kind of telling that he's misleading the public. And a lot of people thought like, okay, well, this guy's out on $500,000, I should donate to him, he needs the help. Which is obviously getting support through dubious means. Is kind of akin to like telling a girl that you're a surgeon and she sleeps with you in hopes that she gets a benefit off of you, just to know that you were just catfishing her the whole time. It's pretty much the same thing, and it's very misleading and unhealthy for you to do that, to waste all these people's money. And it'd be one thing if you were tricking all these like middle-aged men, but you're tricking these like 15-year-olds that are using PayPal, people that are using like Visa gift cards from fucking Walmart, and giving you whatever money they have, and that's a lot of the money. You see all these super chats from people like Anime Rightist or people that are, sending $3, $5. Those are probably like small-time poor people that are not in a position to give you a lot of money, that are still giving it to you anyway because they want your validation. And for you to mislead everybody by saying, oh, the $500,000 thing, they still have it. And Also, a lot of people are defending this somewhat by going on Telegram and saying extemporaneously or whatever you say it, pronounce it as, that, Nick never specifically said that they gave the money back. And it's like, well, do you guys believe in a lie and omission? Now, I agree. Not mentioning the truth is not as bad as lying directly, sin-wise. I guess it's not as bad. But again, it's still doing the same thing. If I have something to hide and I just don't mention it, and it's pertinent to the conversation, then I'm sort of lying, okay? I'm being dishonest, or I'm being not fully truthful, and that's factually correct. It's completely relevant if Nick had those $500,000. It's completely relevant to the situation. And for people to deny it as such are completely lying about it. And it's really pissing me off that people are still naive about it, honestly. Um, I don't like, would I make an analogy? I think that this is pretty clear and cut wrong on his part, and I'm 95% sure that the $500,000 claim thing is true. It's very weird to just make that up, and Nick is not denying it. And again, even if Nick got it stolen from the feds, it's not like the $500,000 is something that he earned. Okay, it'd be one thing if he had somehow $500,000 in his checking account hypothetically, and the feds took it. No, somebody gifted him something, and they like intercepted the gift basically. So it's like if somebody, we're gonna give you a Mustang, and then the government took it like the day you got it. It's not like you lost out on a Mustang. Like, it's not like it was yours and you spent your money on it. It was just something on top that you missed out on. So again, it wasn't that big of a deal to begin with, and for him to lie about it or to be untruthful and to skirt around that topic is completely misleading people, and is a very underhanded thing. And for him to complain about politicians, kind of like not being completely honest about their money situation, it just seems to me like you cannot be trusted. Okay, that's such. I think this is just completely honest. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so using his morality to threaten frivolous lawsuits to bury Simon and others is big if true. Well, I mean, if it's true that Simon was being threatened by Nick by saying that I'm going to get you $100,000 in debt if you fuck me over, I think that's very cringe. And, for Nick to use these NDAs is also, suspicious. I don't see why these interns, these teenage boys, should, these 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds that are signing up for America First internship, I don't know why they need to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I feel like if you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement and you're under the age of 25, there must be something really suspicious going on behind the scenes, and I don't trust it, okay? And again, I just don't see this as good. And for the record, I don't think Simon has said anything about like Nick trying to mess with like the establishment in any particular way. Basically, the secrets that he exposed were all just like Nick and manipulating the books and all that. It wasn't him like saying like, oh, we have dirt on this politician that's a liberal and we're going to expose it. It wasn't anything like that would have actually been warranting of an NDA. It was just like, well, Nick lied about this like tax thing, or he was avoiding talking to this person, and that's why, like, I'm just saying that the NDAs were completely morally injustifiable, and they weren't even written well. He said that Simon says that ironically enough, that a law student was the one that wrote the NDAs, which is plausible because that's probably like another AF intern that wrote what was gonna pin these other groypers into a bind with Nick. And unfortunate, and it kind of shows that Nick is kind of a cheap ass if he's gonna resort to getting a law student, a guy who's probably like in his early to mid 20s and not some established 50-year-old man to do it. So that's kind of biting him in the ass, because now a lot of people are, talking about Nick that otherwise couldn't have if the NDA were actually written well. So that's him being a cheapskate and him, getting bit in the ass from it. One thing that I noticed about all this drama was his Praise God Telegram post was implying that he just found out he's off of the no-fly list. A mere 3 hours later, he's on a plane, which is sus. True, I think he was completely disingenuous about the no-fly list. Now, Jaden and Simon said that he was definitely on the no-fly list, but what I will say that is weird is that he was on it after January 6th, and then he got taken off of it, within the last month. So for over a year, he was on it, and all of a sudden, the same Biden administration that put him on the no-fly list, and the same Biden administration that has been prosecuting America First people in general, all of a sudden just let him off the hook. And I do understand that Nick Fuentes was suing the government over this, but clearly it didn't go to trial, or it wasn't done like as a process, because otherwise they would have fought that out and with the government. So again, why would the government, if they were anti Nick Fuentes, anti Baked Alaska, why would they let him get off on that? Okay, so if you're so targeted and oppressed by the Biden administration, why did the Biden administration let you off the hook then? Why did they take you off the no-fly list? Like, if they could have just kept on screwing you over, why didn't they just leave you on the list just to fuck you, is my point. Why would you get off with no strings attached is my question. And does that prove that he cooperated with the feds? Not necessarily, but it's a lot of circumstantial evidence that adds up over the years that the same government that typically would want dirt from other right wingers to like let yourself off the hook, which has historically been the case. How is that not the case now? I my hypothesis is, and I don't know this as a fact, but I would assume that Nick Fuentes gave the Fed something in order for him to get off the no-fly list so that he can move to Florida and be more flexible in terms of moving places. What could that have been? Could that been like him doxing his donors or something? Maybe. I don't know. It seems sus, is my point. Okay. The fat retard on the top left of the Kino Casino literally has boobs and sounds gay. He's really reveling in the downfall of Nick, which is poor posture, and I don't like him. Random thoughts. I think he's referring to PPP. Yeah, look, so the thing is with PPP is that he's like this Canadian guy who used to be a pastor. And then he's done some bad things in the past. Like, I think to own Ethan Ralph, like he showed off like his exposed asshole, like to own him while he was wasted. And that was like 4 years ago, and I think that's cringe. Obviously, like really gross. Was it gay? Not really. So maybe better than Nick, but not by much. No, he's obviously regretted that, and he might say like, "Oh, I'm doubling down," but he has to do that on the internet, or else he'll look like a bitch. Now, PPP, he's a very smart guy. Unironically, I think he's high verbal IQ, and when you think about the Kino Casino and the fact that they're just like reacting to like the same replays from Cozy that we see. Any layman can see, it kind of shows that he's really carrying the show, and he has a lot more charisma than Andy Worski, and I'd say he's really funny, and he makes the show what it is, because without him it would not be that interesting. So that's something that I would add. He's definitely somebody who warrants attention. Again, him being fat and like dysgenic, again, that is all true. But if you're not a fag, then I don't see what the big deal is. Okay, just because the guy is unattractive does not mean that his opinion is not credible. And oh wow, he's fat. So what about Ethan Ralph? And again, a lot of these people pretend to have respect for Ethan Ralph, but at the same time condescend him all the time. They treat him like the retard. Oh, the retard is so smart. He's so funny. You guys are just laughing at him. Oh, Ethan Ralph, we love Ethan Ralph. He's crazy. He's a crazy son of a bitch. No, you think he's white trash. Be fucking honest, man. So again, PPP, not the greatest person in the world, but he's funny, and he's doing the right thing by taking down America First. In a way that is hilarious, and he makes great content, and the Kino Casino is like the best thing that is on right now. And so for people to disavow PPP is kind of counterproductive. And again, he didn't have a great past, but that is what it is. Okay, this is the truth. So I support PPP more or less. I don't think that the people in the Kino Casino are morally that much better than the people on AF, but just the fact that they're taking down my enemy makes me friendly to them. So that's that. And I've talked shit about people that I support now in the past. I think I've made streams making fun of RPG when I was pro Nick in the past. And, I watch RPG's live streams from time to time now. And I find him somewhat entertaining. And I don't hate the guy anymore. I was mostly just shitting on him for memes. But, yeah. So I'm open-minded to that sort of thing. And I don't have to endorse everything that Worski's done in his past. But, if he's facilitating the show, then I support him insofar as he's doing that. And content is content. And I'm not going to be expecting everybody to be perfect. So that's that.
Trust the plan, you chink hater.
A bunch of other. So I'm kind of like halfway like looking on my other screen right now, my other tab, that's not shown on the video, and I'm looking at Dalton's thing, and people are super chatting, racist slurs against Vince Dow. And I denounce that. People need to stop hating on Vince Dow because of his skin color and his race. And, it's kind of funny to make racial jokes and to say nigga and all that and chink and all that. But, again, you guys are overdoing it. And I don't want to come off as a bitch, but it's really just hurtful and immature for you guys to shit on a guy's look. And, again, just very inopportune. And, and you have these tokens. Sure, you have the fat guy, Ethan Ralph, who you condescend, and you have Tenrio, who's this chubby black guy who you condescend, and you have John Miller, who Nick Fuentes literally called an N-word with the hard R, which I don't want to say because of TOS, and frankly, a lot of racism, and it's unnecessary racism. Like, do we know that black people commit more crimes? Yes. And does having minorities generally hurt Republicans' electoral chances? Yes. But to just say, oh, you're a chink, ha ha ha, you're Asian. Why? You guys are such assholes. Why do you have to do that, Groypers? Really? Imagine being Vince Dow, and you literally say something that is completely innocuous and innocent, like, oh, I pray that God helps these people, and then you go ahead and make all these racist jokes at his expense. It's really hurtful, and you guys need to stop. And Oh, you're moral fag. Yes, I am. Fuck it. Why not? Okay. You need a little morality here. Stop with the racist stuff. It's overdone. You guys really need to get some new jokes. Literally, I go on Cozy, and when you counter signal, all that's like, you're a traitor, you're a faggot, you're brown, you're Mexican, you're Asian. Is that it? Really? Really? It's really bad. Okay. Uh, that's the truth. Now people are counter signaling Doyle, and other people are defending him. It kind of goes to show these Doyle people. I mean, these Groiper people. They just are sheep. When Doyle before he counter signaled Nick, they talked shit about Doyle for the most part because they thought he was a nerd and because he was Diet Nick Fuentes. And now that he counter signaled Nick, they went full anti Doyle. They were like, you know what, we fucking hate you. You're a bitch. You were always a bitch. We never liked you. And then now that John has Nick by the ball, so to speak. Now Nick is like, oh, we made up. I talked to Doyle, and then now people are saying Doyle's a faggot, and then the other Groiper is like, well, no, Nick said he's okay, so now we like Doyle. So again, their opinion completely consists of whatever Nick said the day before, and that's kind of pathetic. Lack of autonomy is really bad for adults. Same thought on the okay. Let me read again. Same thought on the bearded guy. Didn't have a lot to say because I think he was a drunk. Yeah, Beardson is a complete loser. Stone cold. Again, Beardson. You are a 35-year-old man. Maybe you're 33. I don't know. You're a guy in his mid-30s. You are 5 foot nothing. You have a weird aesthetic. You look like a goblin. You look like if Gavin McInnes were in order to pay for his sins were brought back on like a hell version of Earth. Like if you were in Freddy's World from Nightmare on Elm Street and you were like this little ugly fucking manlet goblin version of himself who has less jokes, is not as good of a comedian, and has to suck up to a 23-year-old man, okay? Imagine being that much of a loser, where your leader is over a decade younger than you. It's honestly pathetic. I cannot see myself doing that. I mean, I'm 18. What Beardson's doing to Nick is akin to me supporting a guy who's like 14. It is honestly pathetic on your part, Beardson. And again, he does not have a high IQ. He doesn't even cover politics that much because he's that cringe. All he has is like rehashed like Gamergate stuff and stuff that is just honestly unoptical. This guy will play Call of Duty Vanguard or whatever the hell, and he'll just say racial epithets at teenage boys, and it's again very unoptical, very immature of you to do. Oh, N-word, faggot, oh, faggot this, oh, suck my dick, fag. Stop, okay? Yes, was Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer fun? Yes. Was Call of Duty Black Ops 2 multiplayer cool like 10 years ago? Yes. All that is true. But to say the F slur every single sentence, to say the N word every single sentence is not funny, and it is honestly telling of your lack of verbal IQ, okay? PPP says all these slurs occasionally, yet he's able to make fun of stuff without using these all the time, okay? Kai Clips is a charismatic guy who does not have to resort to curse words, and he's even better than me in that respect in terms of the cursing. I do say faggot occasionally, but as you can see, I say it orders of magnitude less than Beardson. And this is a cool distinction to make because, again, I am not pro-gay. I'm against all that for religious reasons, personal reasons. It's gross, whatever. I'll say faggot all I want. But again, I don't say it all the time because that's not my entire personality. And again, Beardson, that's his entire personality. Oh, I'm a gamer. Look, it's 2005 again. F word, F word, F word. Stop. It's not funny anymore. Seriously, stop it. Claims of view. Oh, and by the way, Beardson, complete simp. His wife left him, and I'm surprised he even got a wife to begin with. But again, the wife was very unattractive, to be fair. But again, when you're 5 foot nothing, like it's gonna be hard to get a girlfriend. So again, I don't want to make fun of him too much on the girl question. But the part of the girl question I will ridicule him for is that he does follow all these e-girls, all these Asian girls. Why? Why does he follow them? I mean, it's obviously for Coomer reasons. And that is the God honest truth because there's really no way that any of these girls are going to want to sleep with him or marry him. I promise you that. So, and if you were to tell me who's more attractive, Ethan Ralph or Beardson, it's a very hard struggle. This would be like a WWF like cage match, something that would be pay-per-view to see who's more unattractive to the female species. Okay. Anyway, let me take a sip. Okay. Claims of view manipulation are big if true, but I actually side with Nick here. He hit 30,000 on DLive during the 2020 election results. Are we questioning DLive metrics too? Him getting 5 to 8,000 people watching him is not unreasonable. Outside analytic websites show Cozy is getting a lot of traffic. Okay, so again, I think he's wrong. Why? Well, look at this. About the views. Yes, he did hit 30K on DLive, But you have to question who else was political on the right wing that was on D Live. Okay, from what I remember, Nick was the only relevant Trump supporter on D Live that was streaming at the time. So he basically got a lot of attention that wouldn't have been there otherwise. Okay. And if you were to quantify somebody's viewer count based off of the election streams, you would see a completely different side, okay? Like for example, let's say the Young Turks go live, right? And they have 15,000 viewers on YouTube. On the election stream, you could expect maybe like 200,000. That's not at all representative of the amount of people they get, on average or in the median number, okay? So again, the 30K doesn't really mean anything to me. And then second of all, for him to have 5 to 8K is unreasonable because when you look into the back end of the website analytics, I was looking at it yesterday. It's really boring and stuff that I already forgot about mostly. But I will tell you that the traffic that they're getting is not that big relative to the amount of praise that Nick is getting for it. So while it is pretty big for like a nobody, again, for somebody that's trying to be the leader of America, it's not good at all. Okay, I will tell you this. And again, a lot of the views are fake, and a lot of the people that are watching aren't watching the entire streams. Okay, so yeah, no. The bot thing is 100% real in my opinion. I'm really confident about it. Nick got owned by Kai Clips. Nick's rhetoric on inceldom and women is grindingly cringe. We need to encourage young white men to date and have children, not hate women, you fucking faggot. Nick bitches about women in politics and constantly props up Michelle Malkin, Wendy Rogers, and Marjorie Taylor. How does that even make sense? Okay, well, let me see. Yeah, Kai Clips has destroyed Nick on like 2 or 3 different occasions on the incel question. And if Kai were like really to be a man and actually take on Nick, I think he would destroy him. Nick's and the thing about Nick is that he does like unironically believe in men like getting married to women, but he coats it in so much irony that it's hard to even believe what he says half the time. And people just don't respect that inherently. And then this guy says we need to encourage young white men. Look, this whole thing of like white men need to reproduce, like you need to drop that. I just don't like this moral fagging over like the racial idolatry. And again, I'm not the least racist person, but to put race at any importance at all is kind of cringe. It's completely unbiblical to idolize race and to make it a poignant point. So yeah, again, it's more like I will admit black people are more crime. The correlation is there with crime and all that. Yeah, sure, and black people this whatever. But again, to say that young white men need to reproduce, not really. Everybody needs to reproduce. That warrants it. Not mainly white people, to be completely honest. But that is kind of nuanced. And again, I'm just nitpicking. Okay. So he bitches about women in politics, which is completely true. He'll bitch about people like Liz Cheney and Elise Stefanik for valid reasons, and then he'll prop up Michelle Malkin, Wendy Rogers, and Marjorie Taylor. Well, see, the thing is that he'll take any little crumb of support he gets from the establishment and he'll run with it because he definitely needs that. And that's why he was kissing up to Elijah Schaffer despite him calling him a lispy faggot a couple of years ago. So, yeah. Nick is a kiss ass when he is in a point of inferiority. I will say this. I will say this. Oh, and hey, Nicholas. Okay, so this is going to be funny because Nick does read the Kiwi farms, okay? I am not choosing a side here yet because it's still evolving, but this is looking pretty fucking bad for you. Nick, character isn't who you are or what decisions are easy. Character constitutes the choices a man makes when things are tough. Like you said on your show the other week about humility, this whole drama is an opportunity for you to eat a slice of humble pie, bro. Privately repent, privately settle this thing with Jaden and Simon. Then the 3 of you can come together and publicly and you apologize, own your mistakes, correct course, re-examine your ethics, and fly low for a while. That's okay, that's true, but that's completely antithetical to Nick's personality, and this will definitely not happen. Okay. And I do remember Nick mentioning that he does read the Kiwi, like all of it, and I do remember that he hates Gay Stoner, apparently, according to Jaden. Gay Stoner is a pretty prolific Kiwi guy, so that's pretty funny. Okay. Let me click on this link. We'll see what it leads. Okay, Vouch. Yeah, thank you for that ugly image. What the fuck? Okay, so this is Michael Alberto's chat. Stream sniping the Kino Casino. Duck ass. Why? Okay, let's click. If being a cult. I love my cult-based cult. I love the cult. Okay. Cult part 2. Ride or die. Ride or die. He is my undying. Okay. Then people are spamming My Little Pony. Gay. Okay, Doyle has been hella sussy lately. Black Victory. That's so weird. Okay, and then the Groypers are saying flag the video based report the Kino Casino. Again, just being complete fags about it. I just really hate that stuff, honestly. And again, I hate that. And if my channel does get flagged, I will assume it's them, and I'll be 95% sure it's them. Uh, so apparently Jaden was admitted to kissing a girl. Let me see. Fuck, yuck, trade or die, never e-girl. It's over for Simps. Gay, Brittany Venti, there it is. I am incel. I could talk about Chief Trumpster a little bit. I know him more than most, outsiders, but I'm not gonna rant about Chief Trumpster. He's really irrelevant. Okay. Uh, Doyle is boring. Doyle is dead to me. I don't know who John Doyle is. Fuck Doyle. Fuck Doyle. Doyle loves Nick. Kai says John is cool. Yeah, this is just this like complete sheep mentality of like fuck Doyle, we love Doyle, whatever. Just polarizing opinions, just based off of what Nick says. Kai Clip says stop beefing with John over this stream. Nick and John are cool. So Kai's doing damage control because yeah, he is fence sitting between the John coalition and the Nick coalition. And again, I don't want to light up John, but John has his opinion, and I'm pretty sure Kai knows what John thinks. And for Kai not to join John is a spit in the face. And Kai, you're a fucking idiot if you don't join John. Okay, I'm just saying that out loud. I'm not gonna reveal the details about that, like in particular, but I will say that John is in a way better position than Nick, and just for your own self-interest, you ought to get the hell out of there, bro. Please, okay? Seriously, like it's not good at all. Okay. Anyways. We'll move on and start reading some more stuff. Okay. A small number of people have left group chats, but for the time being, almost everybody on the inside is going with the usual cope. Nick's got his money back. That's so based. Yeah, the Groypers are very predictable. Mm-hmm. Okay. Fuck. Okay. AF Defector says, everything from the Kino Casino stream was true. When it comes to Nick's character, I have either witnessed it or experienced it. When it comes to things like actual, like, botting viewers, getting money back from the feds doxing, it's also all true. Nick is not retarded, so I think it will be pretty obvious that I don't have Nick in text saying, guys, we're going to do X Groyper thing today. Tomorrow we are going to be increasing the viewership multiplier by another 25%. Quote. Okay. Also, I'm currently an intern. I think that leaking chats would be a good way to narrow the origins of my post down to a small number of people, so it's not worth the risk of me doing that yet. I will continue to fill you guys in and provide more info while I'm capable of doing so. But to expect screenshots of specific things Nick did is ridiculous. I can't take a screenshot of Nick acting like a faggot. I can't take a screenshot of his bank accounts being reinstated. I have connections with most of the higher ups, but at the end of the day, I'm still an intern. I'm not Black Swan or hiding with those capabilities. Okay. Also, Black Swan, to go on a little bit of a rant here. Black Swan is this guy who is a high-end intern. I think he was face doxed on the Kiwi, on the Kino Casino. So I guess, maybe that's a little bit of hypocrisy from PPP's point, but, Black Swan, completely a dysgenic fucking freak, twink. Really Nick's type. Guy's fucking hideous, though. Also, Nick has no base... Okay, reading again. Also, Nick has basically zero involvement with the internship himself. It started under AG and Simon. I don't know who AG is. And they were just the ones giving directions and orders. When both left, Nick started to get involved a little bit more, maybe for 2 to 3 weeks, but now it's back to the same where Nick does not even interact with the interns unless you have a relationship with them, like as a friend. Most interns haven't even met or hung out with Nick, save the quick, hey, thanks for the work you do at any event, where Nick will proceed to do shit on the interns privately. 5 minutes later, AFPAC under Simon and AFPAC 2, was clearly the better event over 3. Regardless of the number of attendees, Gosar spoke and didn't immediately disavow. The lighting and overall image of the event were much more professional, to be honest. Okay, Groypers cope now and say, well, look at how big APAC 3 was. But don't also talk about MTG's immediate disavowal. Gosar didn't show at all. The video that he made wasn't even for America First. It came from a Gosar staffer who also happens to be an AF intern. Keynote speaker flaked last minute. I forgot who that was. Live stream paused for like 30 minutes with no explanation. If you want to know more specific things, I will ask them and I will provide what I can. I'm just too retarded to go out on a limb for you to go out on a limb and provide you with something that's actually valuable. Okay, I mean, this is a good post. I think he's being honest here. I don't know who this AG guy is. Maybe he's relevant to something. And he's spot on with the AppPack thing. And, obviously he can show screenshots. But, again, the you can narrow this down, who the defectors are really easily. You know, these group chats with like 6 people, it's going to be really pretty simple to track down who's actually doing what. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in this case. Yeah, because like that AF undercover Groiper AF or whatever, that guy, I've narrowed it down to a couple of different suspects. It's like really obvious to me. I probably shouldn't say it out loud because I don't want it, to blow up his position. Again, I know a lot more than I'm letting on. I just do not want to compromise the plan right now because there's some things in the works that are really gonna blow up Nick's situation politically. So I'll not say that right now, but I'll go ahead and keep reading. Okay. How involved in AF is Michael Zimmerman? Apparently, he's not that involved. It's like a Kino Casino joke. Bum, bum, bum. Beardson barely will be on the Kino Casino. Screenshot this. Okay, that's retarded. Beardson won't join Kino Casino because I'm pretty sure he's banned from everywhere else. And most of his fans are Knicks fans that are bored. And if he moves on and he like goes to YouTube or Odyssey, he'll not only be censored for the most part, he'll also lose most of the fans, if there are any. So he'll be streaming on Odyssey maybe with like 50 people watching. He'll make like $20. And he might be making fun of Jake Lloyd now, but he'll be in the same position actually. So he definitely needs Nick if he wants to keep buying Uber Eats and living in his trailer or wherever small house he lives in Kentucky or wherever the fuck. So again, if he wants to have his little shitty lifestyle, he's gotta have to keep sucking up to Nick. I bet Catboy Cammy will be on the Kino Casino as well. He's an attention whore. He was on Bake's stream for a little bit and he disavowed Nick Fuentes for some reason. Okay. I will make a prediction. After appearing alongside Beardson for some time, PPP will be hired as a male model because he'll look at the... Okay, whatever. That's a joke. PPP does indeed have man boobs and does not deny it, but they are far more attractive than Ethan Ralph's pancake boobs, and PPP has nothing to compare to the hideous abdominal cleft of Ethan Ralph's gunt. Yeah, I mean, look at Ethan Ralph. He's got 1 titty, 2 titty, 3 titty, whatever. It's fucking just... I've seen fat people, like I've seen man tits before, but I've never seen them like this. You look at Ethan Ralph, and I'm sort of like, I'm almost gagging. I get like an acid reflex or something. Oh my god, wow. Just look at his skin texture too. It's fucking hideous, gross as hell. It kind of looks like he got sprayed with like a light cement. Like if you had Febreze laced with cement and then you poured it all on his torso, like you see this like the graying right here. Interesting. And PPP is fat, but again, PPP is like 25 and Ralph is like 10 years older, and Ralph abuses alcohol and drugs, and I don't think PPP does. So, he might be fat too, but he doesn't look as shitty, skin wise and man titty wise. And Ralph's probably fatter, and at least PPP is like 6'4". So I'd rather be 6'4", 25, and fat than 35, 5 nothing, and even fatter. So that is the truth. Okay, we do not like that physiognomy. Okay, period. Anyways, let's move on. Ooh. Let me take a sip, actually. Okay. Okay, truthfully, I have some reasonable questions for AF Defector. What is the likelihood that it was a Groiper swatting Nick in an attempt to accelerate and instigate the whole winnable war against Kiwi Farms, Medicare, and even Democrats? Anyone that would be naturally suspected to swat cozy streamers and Nick? ? Second, what is the likelihood that Nick lied about his own swatting? I cannot remember if there was an audible audio before both of these swattings happened. 3, what is the most likely play by the Groipers that want to defect, and what is the most likely response to AF loyalist / doxing? 4, supposedly politically provoked was compiling a Google Docs or Excel document that had all the doxing information of anybody on Cozy related or to AF. Can you confirm? Okay, well, we'll cover these. The swatting. I don't know who did the swatting. It could have been Kiwi guys. It could have been anybody. So I don't really care. Did Nick fake his own swatting? I doubt it. Second of all, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. 3, what's the most likely play by the Groipers that want to leave? What's the response? Well, I think the response is to basically go on every single social media and like shit talk them and potentially dox them and harass their families, call into their jobs and all that, which is, again, really shitty. And I would be really not scared, but I'd be definitely annoyed if I were one of them. And yeah, politically provoked. It's a really shitty channel. I really do not like their content on Cozy. It's really bad quality, honestly. I don't see how it's any better than the kill stream, to be completely honest. It tells you a lot. And let me see. One more thing about Simon, because there's a lot of people that aren't familiar with him and that are new to the Nick lore or what they forgot. Simon is cut from the same cloth as Nick and all his capos. He groomed his wife when she was 16 on Nick's Discord server. If you were scratching his head as to why he would praise England and not report a sexual assault to the authorities, he's cut from the same cloth as Nick. Well, I don't know if that's true. Big if true. If he was grooming his girlfriend when she was underage, kind of like Ethan Ralph, sort of. Yeah. Yeah. Again, he's sus on the anime question and the whole like dressing up his wife as like a trap. That's weird. Again, was Simon right? Like, was he probably manipulated by Nick? Yes. Is Simon kind of low IQ? Yes. Is Simon perverted? Probably. Maybe that's why Simon didn't want to call Nick gay, because he knew that there was dirt on him too about the gay stuff. And actually that makes sense, because Jaden, when PPP or Andy Worski asked like point blank, like, is Nick gay, there was a silence, because I'm pretty sure that Jaden didn't want to blow up. Because I figure like if Jaden accused Nick of being gay, then the Groypers would go after Simon in the past. So maybe that's why. So yeah, no, Simon obviously isn't sexually pure. So I will say that I don't really respect Simon from that perspective. But again, that doesn't really matter to me. Insofar as they're taking down Nick. Okay, I'll be practical about that. We understand what you're getting at, but the problem is that you're pretending that Jaden's and Simon's testimonies hold no weight. I'm sure if you were to ask any other Groyper a year ago whether or not you believe Jaden is an honest actor, pretty sure you would answer in the affirmative. Why is Jaden a dishonest snake now all of a sudden? True. This is true. Okay. Testimonies do hold weight. But like I said, after working closely with Nick for 5 years, you have 0 screenshots and 0 recordings to back up anything you say, which is making it less believable. At this point, it's literally just a matter of whose words you do trust. Personally, I think the burden of proof is on the ones making the accusations. Okay, so this ipsum esse, I don't know what that means. Is that Latin? So this guy's saying that he doesn't really believe Jaden because he would assume that he would have shown screenshots. First of all, if Jaden McNeil was a true friend to Nick, then why would he screenshot his friend with blackmail, first of all? And second of all, let's assume that he does have screenshots. Well, didn't Jaden literally say that he has a lot more dirt on Nick, but didn't want to say it just in case Nick went even more below the belt? So, again, if Nick doubles down and attacks Jaden again, then maybe Jaden will say, okay, here's everything I know about Nick. And if he doesn't show screenshots then maybe you're onto something about the testimonies being fake. But until then, the circumstantial evidence so far points to Jaden not lying, like any substantial amount, and it shows that Jaden's being honest. Now, again, is this all like admissible in court? Like, is it, lock solid that Nick is gay? Is it lock solid that Nick did so-and-so? Not really. But again, all the circumstantial evidence is pointing the same direction to me. And there's a common denominator among all these people, and that is definitely Nick J. Fuentes. Okay? I think that's just the reasonable thing to say. Again, I wouldn't go to a judge and say, here's the evidence, okay? I'm not going to say that, but what I will say is that for my own personal heuristic, I'm going to believe Jaden over Nick. Munster Cheese says, ipsum esse, why would people who were not planning on outing Nick collect or hold on to information? It sounded like it felt like a bad situation and they just wanted out. See, that's what I just said. That's kind of funny that he would come with the same conclusion. In the absence of such documentation, I think that the number of people coming out of this thing and saying the same thing increases the likelihood that they're giving honest accounts. This is true. With them now coming out, it will probably knock some of the fear factor away. We may get some more people coming out to support these claims, and with the people still on the inside not knowing how Nick behaves, might be more likely to keep the evidence as protection for themselves. Exactly. Maybe people that were friends with Nick a year ago weren't screenshotting Nick's post or secrets because they liked him, and maybe Jaden only really decided to go against Nick as of the last couple weeks, and he hadn't really gotten any dirt on Nick in the meantime, obviously, so because they weren't talking, so maybe that's why he doesn't have screenshots. And in terms of the Groypers that have left already, obviously they liked Nick up until recently, so they don't have any screenshots of recent events or in the past because they trusted him. And then the Groypers that are still in it now that are looking to leave, maybe Kai, he would probably take screenshots right now because obviously, they're looking to leave. Nick posted this on his Instagram. Okay, so apparently these Catholics are stopping like an abortion mob from stopping them from going into church. Something like that. So apparently America First hats are in that. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Step 1. Dox the Sussy Squad. Gather. So this guy's giving a blueprint to fuck over America first. Let's read it. Step 1. Dox the Sussy Squad. 2. Gather incriminating information in secret on all of them and Nick and his higher-ups. 3. Arrange a date for a mass walkout. 4. Don't send a resignation. Just stop communicating with him. 5. Continue not communicating with him or any other groiper indefinitely, including those you walked out with. This is important. 6. Acknowledge that you will be doxed. Accept it because that's the only outcome if you want to be out as a free person again. 7. Post-doxing, start looking into the legalities and processes you need to change your name and the possibility your address as well. Breathe a sigh of relief and never, ever make a digital footprint on the internet again. No social media, no forums, not even DMs or anonymous discords or whatever. Hell, stay out of the Steam forums on job search websites. Okay, that's kind of crazy. I don't endorse that. That's kind of like that's like really devoted. And I don't support doxing anybody really. I think that's a really bad thing. Alrighty, let's keep on reading, boys. Okay. I never understood how anybody could ever think of Fuentes as anything but a fuck-witted mommy's boy with a messianic complex due to him being a test tube baby. I'm a lot older than the average groiper, so maybe that's it. Yeah, no. Nick Fuentes was a in vitro fertilized child, which is kind of weird. Very rare for somebody to be be like that. And beyond just this fact, you have to also consider that that Nick. Wait, what was I gonna say? Messianic complex. Oh yeah. So apparently the Kino Casino was making fun of Nick Fuentes for being IVF, and Smiley was laughing at that, and like PPP called him a faggot that like shouldn't have been born, like just logically speaking. And I think Smiley liked that post on Twitter. And apparently Nick, being as schizo as he is, or maybe some other groiper, was snitching on Smiley and said, hey, look, he liked something that was making fun of you once. And they really just humiliated Smiley for like over an hour, I think, on Baked Alaska stream. And Baked Alaska threw his good friend Smiley under the bus, a young guy. And it's pretty embarrassing that would happen. Okay, this guy says, has Nick ever explained his deal with the Russian flag, his pro-Russia stance? The Z symbol on his stream. Well, yeah, the pro-Russia thing is kind of ironic and it's contrarian and it's stupid, personally. With the Z symbol, I don't really know what the Z is either. It's probably something dumb. Okay. This guy has a huge post, the fucking Moon Man over here, kind of iconic. In the beginning, there was Gamergate, a grassroots uprising against progressivist entryism into the video game space with the subsequent battle to claim moral and or intellectual leadership over the movement afterwards. It was a Twitter hashtag and 4chan discussion which would have been banned and continued on to 8chan during the early days. Collusion, corruption got exposed. Journos got bullied on Twitter so much that 10 years later they still talk about the Gamergate. This ordeal also gives us characters like Milo, Sargon, Ethan Ralph, and others. Milo kickstarts his extensive Breitbart grift. Sargon begins his liberalist civil nationalist cult. Ethan Ralph begins his odyssey, which would come as a result as an entire Kiwi farm subboard dedicated to just him and his antics. Okay. Then there was the alt-right, which was a brewing grassroots broad tent revolt on the right against the Republican establishment, which coalesced online around the insurgent candidacy of Donald Trump. Okay. Types like Milo and Cernovich at the time were competing for leadership of the alt-right. Ultimately, the Wignats won, and they gave us Richard Spencer, Mike Enoch, and his TRS in England, who produced disasters like Hailgate and Charlottesville. The aftermath of Charlottesville, the censorship kicks into high gear. The Wignats are weak, and after the cringe fest of the college tour that Spencer lost, what a little credibility he had left, and the weekly sweat / Nick Fuentes / assorted groups on the right smelled blood like sharks and took him over, and the Wignats went down. Then the Groiper Wars at the start were just two college kids who asked Charlie Kirk very inconsistent, inconvenient questions during a college tour, attacking conning positions from the right, which caused Kirk to stutter and lose the plot. These moments went viral and inspired more kids to copy them at events afterward. Nick started reporting on this with the show and encouraging the phenomena, and later even on coaching the questions. At this point, Nick appropriates the Groiper meme from the original Groiper community who hated Nick on Twitter and used it to refer to unknown question askers. The online right-wing guys like Patrick Casey and Vincent James, who participated in the IRL questioning event, became the first batch of Nick de facto lieutenants, later to become known as Groyper generals. During the end of the Groyper Wars, and the plan was hatched to attempt to entryism in the subversion of the TPUSA chapters into various universities. This is how Jaden McNeil and Nick met, but TPUSA manages to contain the problem, and then COVID happened, and then the campus politics shuts down, and now we are here. Charlie Kirk won and Nick lost. That's a great point. Basically, what happened was that Nick capitalized on the platform of Charlie Kirk, which is ironic because people are like, "Oh, why are you hating on on Nick Fuentes? He has this platform, and you're just shitting on him." Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk puts in all this infrastructure towards a America First movement. Obviously not America First, but something that's Republican, and then Nick takes the opportunity to shit on him. It's kind of inopportune, honestly, and very, very stupid of him because it really bit him in the ass. Alrighty, okay, we're back. I got sidetracked for a moment there, but so basically, Nick took advantage of Charlie Kirk's infrastructure of getting all these people all together and performing at colleges, and then basically shit on Charlie Kirk, which was funny and probably the right thing to do at the time, but obviously hypocritical because now he doesn't like people counter signaling him as a leader, which is funny. But anyway, that's how TPUSA was relevant insofar as Jaden McNeil, I think, was the chapter head in Kansas State or something, or Nebraska State University. And basically, that's how he was relevant to Nick. And there's a lot of lore there. I don't feel like explaining it. This has gone over an hour, so I'll just try to finish this quickly. Okay. Hold on. Simon and Jaden have been high up in the movement for years. Simon has experience with the alt-right prior to AF. He has done great work for America First, contrary to whatever bullshit claims Nick has made, and the Sussy Squad made him out to look lazy and incompetent. Funny that the complaint against all traders is incompetence, right? Simon ostensibly joined AF because he trusted Nick and the political visibility of AF. Jaden had his own TPUSA chapter and was rising through the ranks of TPUSA very quickly. Jaden had a clear political future in the mainstream, but chose to throw his life into AF and sacrificing all his political connections and potential careers. I mean, this is really, really spot on because, Jaden could have been high up on TPUSA right now, making hundreds of thousands of dollars probably, doing what Lance Videos wanted to do, which is be a six-figure content creator for TPUSA. Clearly that did not work out with Lance because he's fucking stupid. But let's not get started on Lance. The Spider-Man. That's an inside joke. Okay, both Jaden and Simon dove into the AF because they believed in the cause and they trusted Nick as a leader. Why would you screenshot every damning message or record every conversation that could hurt your leader when he's the man and who you currently trust to provide the political solution? That's a good point. Second, I think it's reasonable to believe that Jaden and Simon do have more info that they are withholding. They have heat on them for leaving the movement regardless, and by going on Kiwi, Kino Casino, they played their first hand. If Nick continues to escalate the doxing or follows up through with the feds, I think that we can all see more concrete evidence coming out, which is much more damning to Nick, going on Kino Casino and sharing anti-Nick rhetoric, which is something that scared Nick in the first place. Hopefully he calms down now and makes him more reluctant to continue with his bullshit. Nick went on stream both Friday and Saturday nights and said nothing to address the matter, and the Groypers see this as a win or as an own. Nick did not want to stream, did not want to do those streams, but he knew he had to do something. If he pulls more bullshit against Jaden and Simon, more proof against Nick will come out. Nick knows this, which is why he's trying hard to avoid the matter altogether. He can't completely ignore it, obviously, but I guess wearing a Kanye Gap jacket and acting black for half an hour does the trick. I mean, that's true, Nick is fucking delusional. He thought that was a good idea. Is he trying to avoid confronting Jaden? I don't think so. I think he's in a catch-22, and I think he's going to double down in this scenario because either he could bitch out and look like a faggot and weak and not get more of, basically saying, whatever the defectors have on me is too big, so I won't antagonize them, but I'll look like a bitch to my fans. Or he could try to destroy Jaden and Simon and then have all the dirt come out on Nick, and he'll have to deal with whatever other dirt they have. Whatever dirt they do have must be pretty bad because clearly, Nick would have done a stream gladly. Whenever a situation like this has happened, with the Patrick Casey thing, I'm pretty sure he was on stream ranting about it for over an hour within the same day. So for Nick to do this, as in doing that whole Kanye, LARP, that's obviously pretty silly. Baked Alaska's doing a rosary stream. Okay, whatever.
We have to pray the rosary either every week or every day or whatever you can do.
Whatever. I'm not Catholic, by the way, so I don't really care. Okay. Let's keep going on. Last night, Dalton had 1,800 people watching his stream after Nick ended his troll response to the drama. I have no issue saying all of those viewers were real since the drama season and it's always being a huge crowd right now. Due to his low energy and mental retardation, after 10 minutes, he lost over half of the audience. Everybody knows this is a big moment, so you talk about the current drama while being entertaining so you can capture an audience since this is a huge opportunity for anyone. But he's so fucking low IQ, all he did was listen to rap music. Yeah, I saw part of that. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. I hate Dalton. He's a petty little bitch. He unfairly went after DC Perspective, David Carlson, and made fun of his appearance, and it was completely unfair. And, you know, if David really wanted to, he could have really dug up dirt on those people and really had felted them. And, you know, David could have very easily have made fun of other people's appearances in the movement, you know, included but not limited to Dalton's wife, who's very unattractive. I don't plan on showing her on stream or on video right now, but, you know, she's very unattractive. And, you know, no homo, but, you know, she's less attractive than David is, like, you know, opposite sex wise, you know, fetal alcohol syndrome aside, you know, his wife is very, you know, very large woman, very large, probably weighs like 80 pounds more than Dalton. It's just really pathetic. But let's not try to involve her too much. It's a fair point that they should have. Okay, wait, let me see this. It's a fair point that they should have had more than just their words, but the flip side is this: through that it's been several days and Nick hasn't addressed a single one of the claims. Do you know how easy it is just to show a truncated screenshot of a bank account showing it with $500,000 got returned? Do you know how easy it would have been for them to just make a new cozy code open source? He has said nothing about it. He just does a stream where he sits there like a homosexual Rain Man. Okay, that's funny. For a few hours and just says "see." At this point, then claims. The claims from Jaden and Simon are far less damning than the fact that Nick won't even do the bare minimum to address the claims. True. Here. This is something I don't fully agree with. Absence of evidence is simply never a strong claim. I think what really needs to be focused on is Nick's response. At this point, even if he comes out and says you don't have any evidence, that has very different implications than that's not true. And the fact is that it would have taken him 3+ days to come up with that. Would probably make him look even worse than otherwise, because it's basically too little too late. Also, it would open up the question of why it took him this long to even ask for the evidence in the first place, with the likely claim being that there could be a grain of truth to the claims, and he was terrified that he actually had something on him. The only way he comes out of this not looking bad to anyone by retarded sycophants is just to pull out his own evidence. Again, very cool point, because again, if all he was like, if he's just planning to be like, you guys don't have any evidence, then he could have just said that right after the Kino Casino, but instead he's waited. I think he's waiting because not only does he know that they have more evidence than they're showing, but also because he wants something that'll obliterate those two guys and all the defectors. He doesn't just want to like be like, okay, bitch, well, where's the proof? He wants to just completely obliterate them so that the proof isn't even relevant, because that's the only way he's gonna weasel his way out of this. So because of that fact, I just don't see this as being a successful strategy for Mr. Fuentes over here. So doxing is pretty bad and it's a scary thing to face. If you can avoid it, definitely better. That being said, if you know it's going to happen, I can tell you that everybody I know or have heard of that has been doxed has said basically it's like ripping off a band-aid. It hurts a lot at first and it might be sore, but they'll ultimately get over it. I mean, this is kind of true. You know, they might swat you for a while, but I mean, they'll eventually get bored of it. And it's kind of like any troll. So, you know, if you have to pick between getting doxxed now or getting doxxed in 3 weeks, you know, just do it now, probably, right? If the Kino Casino does get another big griper on, I better hope they structure the interview better. If not for Medicare asking the important questions in the Jaden interview, it would have been a disaster. They had Nick's best friend ready to give the timeline of the disillusionment with the movement and expose the limitations of the movement and Nick, and instead PPP and Worski wanted to ask random questions like, is Nick gay? Were you the bottom? What did you think of the Catboy date? And the between. Worski screaming and howling and interrupting the show so that they had to restart the whole thing just because of the leaks. Jaden and Nick talk shit about Beardson and Franson. A good interviewer would have probably probed this further. Instead, they ignored it probably because they were thinking of a funny question about Catboys. No, I mean, that's a valid point. They were asking a lot of like the funny gossip stuff, like, oh, is he gay? You know, he watched Euphoria, he watched the Sex Lives of College Girls, and yeah, that is funny, and I am interested in that. Like, I find all that stuff, you know, funny and something noteworthy. But again, I rather like if it were a dichotomy of like learning about the actual like him being on the no-fly list, him lying about this or that. You know, I care more than, you know, his sexuality, to be honest. That being said, you know, we can get both. I think they did a great job. You know, Kino Casino was awesome. A lot of people that are important in politics that I know personally that I won't name thought it was hilarious. A lot of people that haven't denounced Nick yet thought it was hilarious. And it definitely changed their opinion on Nick. And Nick coin is falling like the ruble at different points of history. So it's really looking like Weimar Germany in terms of Nick coin. It was inflated to the point where it's going to blow up now. Okay. This guy says, Nick's latent and repressed homosexuality has led him to the point of comical sexism that only rivals the cringe feminist strawman. If he just gobbled the cock and gave up the pseudo-Catholic grift, he would have been a normal log cabin Republican with a small local political career and a twinkie professional boyfriend without freakish fetishes. But instead he's readying himself for a man. Okay, this is really gross. Call me by your name, okay. Yeah, Nick is definitely bisexual in my opinion, but again, you know, getting too much into the details of like pumper dumper stuff is kind of gross to me. I just don't like the gay stuff. Hallelujah. PPP. Okay, here. Sorry, it's a hard. I struggle with saying his name. I think it's redundant. Is my point. Hallelujah. People's Populist Press seems to have a high verbal IQ, but he's about a tenth as ADHD as Worski, and that's pretty bad ADHD. He seems almost engaged near the end of the stream, gushing about jacked warrior kings. Medic saved it, but with him, the problem is that he's just escalating the E-drama, which means never showing any polite skepticisms of Dickerman or McNeil's motives. He just wants to put them on a pedestal despite nipples. I mean, that's pretty true. PPP has a high verbal IQ. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this fact. Having the high verbal IQ makes the stream actually fun. You know, it's one thing to be psychoanalyzing and just being like, okay, well, that's gay, that's cringe, that's hypocritical. And it's another thing for a PvP just to make up witty remarks and jokes on the spot. It takes a lot of skill and practice to do that. So I do really commend him for that. Again, nobody on Cozy can do that, in my opinion, not Beardson. Okay. So let me see here. You say this also described the girl as being a part of the incel death cult. 3 years later, Brave Simon and Brave Jaden tell us about this rape. They tell us about how Patrick Casey was giving the girl head pats. Whatever. I don't see what the point was. What is this link to? Hold on. Yeah, so there's some like rape accusations from like AFPAC 1. And a lot of people are accusing Latino Zoomer of being the guy. I mean, that's obviously not true. So we'll see. I will say this though, Patrick Casey has been almost completely vindicated on the Nick stuff, and I will say as such. Philip Campbell, is that Beardson's wife? Look, I didn't go out of my way to dox the girl's look, okay? But I just happened to scroll by it. Okay, that was an accident. She is very unattractive. I don't want to show her on the screen again. She's very unattractive, okay? But again, I'm not gonna hate on Beardson for having an ugly wife. I don't blame him. Okay, because obviously, you should be used to that if you're Beardson. So I'm not going to hate him for that. At another point in the stream, Dickerman describes a perpetually shirtless pervert. He almost certainly means Cammy. True. Incidentally, in January of 2020, Assistant Groiper tweeted a photograph of Samara Panos, Cammy, I don't know who that Panos person is, and another girl. There's a decent chance that the second girl who has her back to the camera in the photo was the victim. Also in the photo in a book, which the victim once tweeted about owning. Okay, I don't really care about this. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Okay. Let me see. 90% of the shit he gets would be going away on the... Okay, stop with the gay stuff. Like, we get that Nick is gay, but you don't have to go into detail about it. One guy triggers baked into shouting the N-word during his cope stream.
To play tennis with you on Nintendo Switch. Did he bring a black light to inspect the cum in the Yoba mansion as well? Was he cum hunting in the Yoba house?
He actually didn't. I don't know why, cause maybe yeah, no, I guess he didn't do that. We just played.
Like, did you think that was gonna be a zinger, Professor? You thought that was like a zinger?
There it is, right? There it is. There it is, right there.
What?
Is that you off the top of the head repeating yourself 3 times in the stutter? Is that what you got?
How do we know that's like even real? And if it how do we know that even if
I think it's pretty real. Did he watch Euphoria with you as well, Baked?
No, I said I think Euphoria is a cringe show, but I mean I don't really give a fuck.
The movement for saying that, Baked.
Ooh, no, I've said that. I think that's a cringe show. But who the fuck cares? I probably watch shows that, you know, other people think are cringe. I don't really like. Imagine giving a fuck what a grown man watches on Netflix.
Isn't that what Nick's supposed to be against? Doesn't it talk about like transsexuality? Isn't it promoting that? Or isn't that what you're supposed to be against that?
Well, like the new what is it? The new Chucky had like the main character's gay, and I literally watched that whole series, and every time I'm like, I hate that the dude is fucking gay. This sucks, but it's an entertaining series. So sometimes you have entertainment where there's some shit you don't like. You're like, oh, that's nasty, whatever. But you know, there's good storyline.
Or does Nick say the N-word? I mean, Baked say the N-word.
Think about trainees giving your friends.
We'll see. We'll see if he screams.
Like, why are you so obsessed with Nick? You're like, oh my gosh, Nick, what?
He really has to defend Nick constantly. It's kind of embarrassing, you know. You're a grown man in your 30s defending Nick constantly. Kind of bad. Like, say what you will about people that are A-logging Nick and just, like, hating on him nonstop. Like, it's more pathetic to actually support him at this point.
Understand your position in this. You know, trust God, and I need to trust, you know, Nick, who's in charge of this thing, to make the decisions. Yeah, that can be hard. I've had to swallow my pride. We all have. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, yeah, it's easy. Like, it's a cakewalk. But I think any good leader, it can be tough, you know, because they're tough people. But they're fucking difficult as shit to work.
Okay, so, again, really, you know, just simping for Nick. Kind of sus, man. I have to agree with Jim. People are too hard on Sargon, comparing him to Nick. The guy never had that big of an ego. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Based in gay-pilled Groiper, in effect, is a satire and not serious. Oh, so he's like a satire Groiper. Based in gay-pilled Groiper 2022. We will take the come by force if necessary. Me when I see a woman in public. Okay, that's pretty funny. Because, like, a lot of Groipers would probably fall for that, actually. Okay. Let's go to the last page here. I always laugh when I see this pic. Okay. Yes, that was a rape. AFPAC 1 was in 2020, probably in mid-February like the other ones. Simon said that the Groiper was responsible might still be in AF, so I don't know if it's Cami or not. Guess that the only one rape that happened was in AF. Anyways, in regards to the treacherous Groipers, they're just living up to their principles. They all left AF for the same reasons they left the alt-right. The movement became retarded, unoptical, and the leaders unhinged. Yeah, I mean, that's completely right. Okay. Got a question for you, Nick Scholars. Visited my mom for Mother's Day. She told me about a guy who was on Tucker Carlson getting interviewed about being outside of the January 6th. I asked if it was Nick Fuentes, and she said, I don't remember his name, but he was really fucking gay. Okay, that's kind of funny. So, your daily dose of Nick Fuentes. Wait, Emerson made this picture of him? I don't get it. What was the original meme? Oh, this. Slander is the revenge of a coward and dissimulation of his defense by Samuel Johnson. Never heard of that guy. So this is the meme, right? So he's looking out on the city, and you have a Five Nights at Freddy's poster for some reason. And so he's looking like this, and then they changed it to be this, which is pretty funny. Like, it doesn't look edited at all. I mean, this is made really well. He's showing a black light to, like, this catboy with, like, nuts on it. That's hilarious. Man, that's gross, though. Getting married to a woman and creating a strong family is a revolt feminism. Be the man you wish to be. What? What does that even mean? Yeah, and by the way, yeah, Carson quit AF. Carson's a nice guy. He is a freshman in college, so I'll take it easy on the guy, even if he's a little older. Here's a clip of Dalton having a breakdown over a monolingual English speaker.
And everybody on here speaks fucking another language! What the fuck? Shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! You don't even speak English! Why are you on Omegle? Shut the fuck up! Ah! What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Why are you on here?
Yeah, I think he's playing that up. I mean, that's really the content these people have. Like, they're not charismatic enough to cover politics like Nick does. So, tragically, they're going on Omegle. That's really like the death cry of somebody's content on stream on YouTube or on Twitch or anywhere. If they're going on Omegle for content, that's literally like the rock bottom of, like, I have nothing to do here. And, Carson unfortunately did that all the time. And Carson kind of had to head out. Okay. While Jaden did expose him as a physical coward, he has shown malice and complete disregard towards his followers, and right now, he's at a crossroads. Will he settle for being a fading East Leb lolcow, or will he be a revolutionary he was born to be? That's what is on his mind right now. That's a good reading of Nick, honestly. This is the most recent thing up until now, as of 3 minutes ago. Okay, what is it? Okay, let's play it.
Nick, yeah, he binge watched Euphoria. He tried to get me to watch it. And I'm like, well, the first episode is like fucking Dick right there. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out. And he's like, dude, it's so. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Right back
so you're telling me that at Bacon Lester's house, they just had random half-naked tip parties?
Oh my god! What the fuck? He got a black light. He wanted to go see if there was any cum on my couch. He's like, that was some sort of own.
No. Okay, hold on. He's cum hunting? He's cum hunting?
Well, I don't know.
Like the average guy who watches my videos is like a mid-20s guy who works out. He's like, the average boy is like running around with 15-year-old autistic. 100%. That's just the reality.
Okay, that was fucking brutal. Wow. That was bad. That was a bad look. Jesus Christ. We'll read this one too. This is like another this is another forum that's a lot smaller that talks about like the Groyper generals, I suppose. So yeah, we'll look this over. Vince is banned from everything. Like Nick, starting his own thing at Odyssey would mean getting 50 viewers for at least a year. Patrick Casey has never left. He still does his show, writes articles, but he doesn't get viewers. All the talk right now is about RPG and CWC, but those guys are getting 50 viewers as well. There's a reason people humiliate themselves to be an AF. They know their audience will be bigger. That is unfortunately the case. A lot of people that could leave are not because they live off of Nick's audience. And, you know, Nick's audience is big enough to, like, provide a living for like, a couple dozen people, but that's about it. So, I mean, that's, like, a closed ecosystem you're talking about here. Unfortunate for them, they're kind of stuck that way. And that's it. Anyways, we'll look right now, and we'll read this tweet right here. I think I'm becoming Kai-pilled. I want to start working out and getting a GF. Now, he obviously posted this as a contrarian because, you know, that's not a popular position to take. So that's that. And then, again, I don't like this anime PFP thing. I just, you know, how can you respect somebody with an anime PFP, you know, if you're an adult man? And, you know, again, you know, you should work out. You know, I'm not going to counter signal that because, again, the guy's literally, like, probably, like, 100 pounds flat. You know, the guy's, like, 30 pounds underweight. Okay, Crisis King, and then we'll see what they say about Simon here. I hope Simon's kid dies. Simon deserves to live in poverty, take his children away, and give them to somebody with a brain. Let me see. He's a millionaire. No, Simon, not very tried of you to spread without facts. Literal traitors, yeah. I know, they're callous. Burp. Okay, I guess Dalton said this. Kiwi Farms retards are all the most sociopathic monsters who have never really had real life experience. As someone who has had the best friend betray me over women and has abandoned me by people I thought I could rely on completely and empathize with Nick. The only people who think this drama is a big deal are people who don't get it or aren't bought in anyways. I had my best friend of many years abandon me on my birthday purposely so he could go on a date with a girl. Nobody is loyal anymore. Nobody wants a friendship. Nobody cares about each other. Was that Dalton that said that? I don't know. So, Kiwi Farm, sociopathic. Again, you know, I would say the guy who lies repeatedly and is a political figure is the sociopath, not the people that are hating on him, right? Like, if people are trashing on Nick because they hate him and because it's funny and a good, you know, pastime and a hobby, then why would they be sociopathic about it? You know, what's the big deal? Why would they have to lie? And then, you know, your friend betrayed you over a girl. What does that have to do with anything? And the people that don't believe in Nick are people that never bought Nick in the first place. I mean, yeah, obviously, like people that aren't in the cult are gonna shit on the cult, and he's saying that like as a discriminator, right? If you click that user's profile and go to their pictures, they appear to not understand that their old pictures are not deleted. In addition to the Discord picture, he has 3 other pictures he's used on his Telegram previously, and one of them appears to be a picture of his face. Lol. Ender next. That's weird. Why was he on Telegram? What the? Okay, Endernax, my takeaways. This idiot moved to Chicago to live in Nick's basement for free under the pretext that he was going to get a job. Instead, he spent over a year of his life isolating himself from the friend who was doing him a favor by giving him free rent. All his gripes seemed to be centered around Nick being petty, mean, or greedy. This idiot didn't understand that he basically just is a live-in friend because Nick doesn't have any friends in Chicago. Well, I mean, that's kind of telling because, like, Nick lives in Chicago his entire life, so why would he not have friends in the city he lives in, right? So again, Endernax, who is a douchebag, by the way, I really dislike Endernax. He's like a conservative Democrat or something. You know, he's like one of these people that believes that living, in the rural areas for no apparent reason is gonna save America. And again, he's made parodies of my friends that are tasteless, and he's overall a shitty person, and he's very condescending. And again, it'd be one thing if you were a genius, but he's not. So he's just above average IQ in my opinion. I don't know why he's even simping for Nick. It's very out of character for him to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's a fake account because he doesn't do this. Anyway, so he clearly doesn't know about Nick, because if he were really supporting Nick, he would understand that Nick has always lived in Chicago, really. So again, why would he insinuate that he has no friends in Chicago? I mean, that basically proves that he has no friends anywhere, like real life ones. I mean, this idiot doesn't. He admits that he would go months on end without even interacting with Nick, except for a few short instances. Nick gave him crap and said it was because of his trying to get with girls. In reality, Jaden was just a little bitch who just wanted to get free rent without being friends with the guy. What? This culminated in a decision. This culminated in a decision to move out. After over half a year of insulation from Nick, he was resentful and feeling slighted. And rather than communicate like a friend with another friend who did him a favor, he acted like a snake and slowly made plans to leave. When he did leave, he felt slighted by Nick, who spent the better part of a year signaling that he was upset with Jaden for not being a good friend because he spoke ill of Jaden on a stream and was mad at him. Jaden decided it was a good idea, and definitely not for the e-drama from Kiwi Farms, to go on a stream with a bunch of people who are unironically more scummy than Ethan Ralph has ever been. I mean, this is just way off. And again, Endernax doesn't know the lore as much as I do. I know that. I know a lot about Endernax, actually. And I've seen a lot of his videos. And again, I don't like him. He rubs me the wrong way. But if you look here, so he's a hard ass. He's just a hard ass. He's just like a very salty person in general. But if you look here, oh, he lived rent free with Nick. Okay, and then over here saying that he avoided Nick. Well, if Nick brought over his best friend to live with him, you would expect Nick to demand to hang out with him, right? So if Nick didn't try to hang out with them in those 6 months they didn't talk to each other, that's also equally on Nick's part. And the best defense is like, well, it's up to Jaden because Jaden's living there rent free. Well, why is Nick providing rent? Why is he letting him live there for free? Is he that desperate for a friend? And if he's that desperate for a friend, then what's wrong with his personality where he can't have friends from high school or something? Right? All right. And this is interesting. And why would Endernax have this picture of him from like middle school? I remember him, he said that he was chubby in middle school, I think. So again, why would this be on the Discord, and the Telegram? It just seems very random. It's kind of sus. He's a skinny guy now, so I haven't watched the recent Kino Casino, but people are talking about the luminescent activity, so glow in the dark. I figured while there's eyes on it, I might as well have a good time to explore the forgotten lore of Sean, who was the co-host of the Weekly Sweat with Beardson 4 years ago. Back in 2018, Sean helped expose a trans-blacked underage grooming server involving a 16-year-old transsexual user by the name of what the fuck, who had seemingly overnight suspiciously become a decently sized far-right account. He tried to share it with Jim and others on the kill stream, but he was too drunk and made a fool out of himself. Anyhow, the people involved in the server had amiable connections to both big righty accounts as well as lefties, like the transsexual communist known as Cosmo. Okay, I don't know who that is. Aside from flashing the card to the FBI content during the stream, don't know if that's unusual. The oddest thing about the whole thing is that it was the whole Weekly Sweat episode was later set to private. I don't know when this was, but I only went back and checked after Sean and Beardson circled the wagons for Nick and Cammy's 10-hour Catboy date. What's notable is that the same people in Treya's circle are also in Nick's circle, like the STEM guy. What the fuck does that even mean? Let's click on this tweet from Nick. It's the America. Okay, in 2018, in the America First compound, we will be eating Big Macs off of Catboy's bodies like the samurai. Damn, what the fuck? If you order your Big Mac Nick Fuentes Pepe style off their secret menu, they serve it on a stem pie's tummy. What the fuck? That's weird. I mean, that's just weird, bro. Like, that's not even funny. Like, obviously, like, he has to be playing that up and all that, but again, Nick, what the hell? Even at 2x speed, the autism and lack of charisma or organization from Sean is so apparent. It makes the whole stream unbearable to go through. Fucking hell. Yeah, Sean, alcoholic, could have exposed some like grooming thing, but he's too fucking drunk and incompetent to actually do it right. Some Groiper group chats leaked that Andy Worski posted on Twitter. It's literally a gay incel cult. Let me see what the Groiper said. So they were posting these duck male Groipers making out. What the frog's doing? This is good. I like this. More tongue, please. I wish you'd kiss me this passionately. Oh my goodness gracious. Tom AF is a pretty big, like, D-list celebrity in the Groiper circle. And he's, like, not even denouncing it. Pretty fucking gay, bro. Franson having a drunk schizophrenic meltdown right now. Oh, okay. What's this? Studying Franson's eyes.
And then, but then Simon really helped. Because Simon was like, guys, it's over. It's toast, dude. Yeah.
Okay, that's not funny. That's painfully, like, embarrassing, bro. I do not want to listen to that shit. We'll go on to this last page of content, and I'll probably wrap up the video after that happens because, obviously, like, this is taking way too long. Everybody's so hyped about this like Nick Fuentes rebuttal stream, and I hope he does that. Now they're calling Jaden a faggot nonstop. Again, like, it's not funny. Can people make up insults that are not faggot? And it's kind of an overcompensating because obviously in today's society you can't really get away with saying faggot anymore like you could have 15 years ago. But again, to say it all the time is also ruining the point. It beats the purpose. So again, stupid. All right. Let's go on to this. I don't really care about the weekly sweat drama from 4 years ago. It's like way too lowbrow for me to care. Groipers in Nick's chat threatening Jaden and coping, planning to take down the Kino Casino. They're calling him Jaden, which is just so stupid. They call everybody they don't like a Jew and a fag. I don't want to say it's anti-Semitic, but it just simply is. And, it's unbiblical in my opinion to just hate people and, insult them because, oh, you're this ethnicity. Like, what does that even mean? Very out of touch. Okay, who's this? If you weren't aware, because you're a regular person, Nick Fuentes just blew up his own fan base and had a meltdown because of one of his team members losing his virginity. I mean, this is pretty cool. Jaden says, you can tell there's only dick suckers left because nobody stopped them from doing that. Wow. Yeah, so after that first stream, Jaden was like, you can tell that there's only dick suckers left in the inner circle because nobody stopped him from doing that. I mean, that is true. And apparently in the Kino Casino, Jaden clarified that Nick wanted to wear the Kanye, like, the mask, like the pantyhose mask. It kind of looked like that. And he wanted to wear that to the vaccine protest rally in New York. The one that only 50 people showed up to. It was a disaster. And Nick definitely was like, oh, I'm gonna be like Kanye. And then, Mick Cheese, other people like Jaden were, counter-signaling on that. And Nick didn't do it because he actually listened to his friends sometimes. And I think that's pretty cool. But, again, the people that are left, like Dalton or Michael or whoever, were clearly not being completely honest with Nick and just want to fit in with him now. So they're just kissing his ass. And he's he's circling the drain right now. And, anybody with a conscience is leaving Nick right now. And it's pretty obvious to me that that is the case because his decisions are getting worse. So the friend circle are not advising him like they used to. And, I mean, this is similar to Kanye, who progressively got more schizo, in the last 5 years. And you also look at people like Antonio Brown. Again, the people that are still around him just kiss his ass nonstop, so he just keeps acting like a complete idiot. Indians, on the other hand, no way. I wonder why the Indian isn't a John Doyle pay pig over at APU. I don't know what that even means. Again, the people attacking APU from AF saying like, oh, Vince Dow is Asian and Shashank Yalamanchi, the founder of APU, is Indian. Again, it could be a little funny to say that, but, just insulting them for their race, something they can't control, is just very prejudiced and very stupid, very immature, and it's not going to fly with people that are relevant in politics that ought to be queried over. that's kind of ironic that I said that, but you need to curry favor with people that are not that racist. And frankly, again, you're only appealing to like 20% of the population when you're talking about Zoomers that are mostly white, that are very far right, to the right of Trump even, and are going to be tolerant of this like blatant racism. And I don't want to spurg about that too much, but again, it's all true. It's true. Okay. There's a little bit more content here. Something I forgot to mention about the casino. Did anybody else think that Dickerman, which is Simon, and McNeil were implying that Fuentes doxed assistant Groiper to the SPLC? It sure seemed that way to me. I believe that they talked about a dox in recent months. Okay, I don't really care about assistant Groiper. There's way too many Groipers to really keep track of. There's too many names, like Kansas City Groiper, Kansas Groiper, Bible Groiper, fucking Shotgun Groiper. I'm just making stuff up. Michigan Zoomer, Kansas Zoomer, Culver's Groiper, and that was the one. That's one I still like. That he's based. Okay. It's more pathetic than that. He's not jealous of Jaden because Jaden gets women. He's jealous of women that get to fuck Jaden. That's actually pretty funny. You could argue that Nick was attracted to Jaden. Did they do any gay stuff together? Apparently not, if Jaden's being honest. What I will say though is that he said that he wanted Trey over Jaden at one point, according to the Kino Casino, because Trey was tall and handsome. And that's really gross because obviously Jaden and Trey are like the same height. First of all, Dre Godsick, Dre Politics, and Trey Gang, he's a pervert, and he, wanted a dick pic from a tranny, and people are calling him a pedo. I don't know how true that is, but he's definitely a coomer, and like really prolific at that. And he I don't know, he's just a big coomer. And Trey Godsick, he's kind of a sociopath as well. And for Nick to want to prefer to be friends with him over Jaden is telling, as of the last year. And it kind of shows that Jaden is a genuine person because he went out of his way to diss Trey Politics when he was still on good terms with Nick, to his chagrin. So that shows that Jaden is somewhat reasonable and somewhat honest, kind of like Kai, where they selectively do counter-signal Nick. And that kind of shows that they're more honest than a lot of other people in AF, like Beerson, who just completely agrees with Nick on virtually anything of relevance, and Baked Alaska, and Steve Franson, and a lot of other people too. So yeah, and let me read this a little bit. Truthfully, LARPer is a true GIF. Okay, so that's the entirety of that Kiwi Farms. I just read to you 22 pages of new Kiwi content. I hope that tides you over for a while. I probably won't upload another video or like Nick related thing until after he makes a response, if there is a response at all, and I'll definitely try to cover that. And you guys should know that if this video does go down, it's almost definitely going to be because of the Groipers, and I will probably almost definitely gonna blame the Groipers, if not Nick Fuentes himself, for taking it down the stream. So yeah, look, if you're a Groiper and you disagree with me, I way rather you dislike the video and unsub and unsubscribe and leave a hate comment than you flag my video. It's just not fair. I've never flagged anybody that has talked shit about me. I've never tried to block anybody or like report anybody's Instagram profile that disagrees with me. I don't block people on Twitter. At least I got banned, but before that I didn't really block people prolifically like Nick does, and I don't believe in flagging. And if it were up to me, Nick would have a YouTube channel right now. And not ever have gotten banned. So I'm trying to stay to my principle. I would respectfully ask you to not dox me or to take down my channel. And you might say like, well, you said the gay slur, so I'm gonna take you down because technically that's anti-TOS. You know what, guys? Stop acting like that, okay? So again, don't take down my channel. If you guys flag my channel at all, I will blame you guys almost definitely. And I just will say this. You guys shouldn't flag me, all right? I'm totally going to blame the Groipers if they do it. If it happens, I'm almost definitely sure it's going to happen. And I just keep repeating this over and over because it's very true. Don't flag my channel. Anyways, I just want you guys to leave while you can. If you're AF at all and you have any skin in the game, like if you're an intern, leave now and get the hell out. I think the ship is sinking. I'm like 90% confident that America First is not going to go anywhere. It already peaked a while ago. And I feel like Nick is not the right leader. And that's the reason why I'm anti-Nick now. He just is way too demanding of his audience, and he's crazy. And I just don't think he's going to make it. Now, if I thought he was going to make it, I probably wouldn't counter-signal publicly, even if he had all these faults. But because he has these faults and he's not going to make it, I'm going to shit on him, okay? Like, for example, if the candidate for Republican president was some wignat, like if it were Richard Spencer, I would antagonize Richard Spencer, not because I don't want the Republicans to win, but because I want a different candidate, because we're definitely going to lose if Richard Spencer is the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. So, again, I want America First to succeed vaguely. Like, I want paleoconservatism, I want to lower immigration, all this other stuff, the gay stuff to be banned. But I also don't want Nick Fuentes to be the leader. And even if he had a chance to be leader, I'd probably support him. But because he's not going to make it and he's a bad person, I'm going to definitely disavow him and hope that he loses relevance. Okay? So again, this is all political stuff. I do not want like violence or anything, just for the record. If you hated what I said, but you still stuck through the end, I do respect you for that, because a lot of people are just very close-minded on that question. So I hope that you guys are definitely going to be more open to that, and I will lose subs for this. I know that, but it's okay. If you want to put, if you think that being a fan of me and being a fan of Nick is mutually exclusive, then go ahead and unsub for me if that's what you want. Just don't flag the channel. That's basically all I'm asking. Don't dox me. Don't flag my channel. Don't report anything. Don't false DMCA anything, and then we'll be fine. And I'm not targeting any particular griper. I don't want any griper doxed. I don't try to dox anybody on purpose. I don't flag anybody's content, and I try to keep all the DMs and all the messages on my channel public. And sometimes the algorithm will delete things that have like racial slurs in that, so that's not my fault. But I definitely don't delete anything that hates on me, and I'll even reply to it if anything. So I just appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next upload.